Okay, so in this video, we're going to take a look at Johnny Cash and Luther Perkins and the unique rhythm style that they had when they played together. And so that's what I've done. I've created this sort of hybrid where you got a little bit of Johnny's strumming and a little bit of Luther's picking, and you put them together. And this is the kind of stuff that I find myself doing if I'm ever playing a country song, slow or fast, and playing rhythm. It just fits really well. You hear this style all over Nashville, so that Johnny Cash sound is still very influential today. But we're going to break this down. We're going to start this in the key of E, and I'll actually show you how to play this in another key. For premium members, I've got another version of this where we've got it with no open strings, so you can transpose this and play this in any key. But we're going to just, in this video, we're going to focus on doing this in the key of E, just like I did in the intro. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to learn the Luther Perkins part. Luther was Johnny's lead player. He also accompanied all of his rhythm stuff. And you hear this sound when you hear him play. It sounds like this. Okay, really cool sound, cool vibe. And note-wise, it's actually very easy. The only tricky part will be getting the right hand going and having that happen fluidly, but you can do this. So that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to learn the Luther part, and then if you watch what Johnny does when Luther's doing that, if you watch any of the old videos, which you can find them on YouTube, he's strumming like this. And a lot of times he'll strum up here, you know, just kind of does that for effect, kind of a dramatic effect. But that's kind of the Johnny thing. Sometimes he's using his thumb, and sometimes he's using a pick. But if you combine those two, you got the Luther thing and then the Johnny thing, you get... And so I thought that was more useful. You get the best of both worlds. Okay, so here's how we're going to start this. Grab your guitar, grab a pick. Okay, so with your left hand, you're going to make an E chord. And we're going to start by doing just downstrokes with the right hand. We're going to play strings 6, 4, 5, 4. So just do that with a pick. Only downstrokes to start with. So we have 6, 4, 5, 4. Okay, that's the groove. Now that's not too hard, but the accuracy part might throw you a little bit. And that's, if that happens, don't worry about it. Over time, you'll get more comfortable with it. Now, another thing to mention is you might want to, well, you should actually, you should palm mute this. So take this part of your hand and sort of rest it on your strings, close as you can get to the bridge. That makes it a little easier. So you get that thud sound. It doesn't sound like this. You don't want the strings ringing out like that. It gets too muddy. Try and get that sound. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add 2 upstrokes to that. So we're going to go. So now it goes like this. Down, down, up, down, down, up. So it's still 6, 4, 5, 4, but now it's down, down, up, down, down, up. Now I realize that looks easier than it maybe is if you're newer to playing and you don't have accuracy and things like that. But I'm telling you, if you just give this a little time and just sit with it, especially with a metronome, put it at a very slow setting, but you'll get more comfortable with it. And a lot of this is just muscle memory and feeling it. And that, to me, is one of the big advantages beyond the sound part of it, of palm muting, is because you can feel where you're at with the strings. If your hand is not touching anything, it's very hard to be accurate. But if you've got it resting on something, some guitar players will put their fingers down here on the body of the guitar. Whatever you can do to anchor something with your right hand, it makes it a lot easier to be accurate. That's a little pro tip for you there. So by now you should have this. Right? I could sit and do that all day. So now let's add a little more of that chord in there, and this is where I pull in sort of the Johnny Cash thing. And so now when you're going to play where you were playing on the 4th string, that E note there, you're going to play some of the chord. You've got your E chord made here with your left hand, so it's going to sound like this. Just to start with, just get that going. And then you can add that extra upstroke like you did before, so then it'll sound... So that's what it sounds like when you put it all together. It's got a really nice, and here it is slowly. Don't worry worry about being super accurate on how many strings you're playing when you do the strum. Just try and hit any of those strings in that E chord. It's all gonna work as long as you keep, the real thing to watch is this sound. That has to be super precise. And again, make sure you're palm muting. You don't want those strings ringing out like this. It gets too muddy. Okay, so that's what we're doing over the E chord. There's your 1 chord. Also kind of a Waylon Jennings kind of sound. Now when we go to the 4 chord, which is your A, see how cool is that? All we're doing is doing a little bass walk up. So we're going to play open 6th string, 2nd fret, 4th fret, up to the 5th string, open 5th string. So all together we have open 6th, then you have 2, 4, 5th string. Now once we come to that A note, or that 5th string, we're going to go ahead and make the A chord here in first position, just bar the first 4 strings on the 2nd fret, and we're going to play this. So it's the same kind of pattern, but this time we're going to do 5, 4, 6, 4. 5, 4, 6, 4, so like this. And as far as the strum with the right hand, same thing we did with the E chord. So it sounds like that. All right? Now let's put those two together now. We've got... There's your 4 chord. Now to get to the 5 chord, we're just going to walk that. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. The way that Luther would do it was he was pretty much always playing a major chord. So that you could play your B chord like that using the A shape. You just slide everything up 2 frets. And that would be acceptable. But what I like to do, and I think this gives it a little more of a, almost like a Buck Owens kind of feel, where you throw in the 7 chord. So when we go to the 5 chord, I'm going to play a B7 like that. And watch what I do with my middle finger. So I'm keeping that bass line going, but now I'm having to move my finger. Now I've seen people do this different ways. Some people can just go ahead and bar with their middle finger. But I find that gives enough separation between the notes if you just move your finger back and forth. And honestly, it feels pretty intuitive when you do it. It's not as awkward as you might think. Okay, so the only thing I didn't show you is when we go from the 4 chord to the 5 chord, there's this little walk up that goes like that. So that walk up goes open 5th, pinky on the 4th fret 6th string, back to the 5th string open, 1st fret on the 5th string, and then use your middle finger to play that 2nd fret 5th string. And then you go right into that B chord, or the B7 chord. So you have... Now in the premium video, I'll show you how to do it in a different key, and we'll do that same walk up, but we'll obviously finger it a little different because we're not going to use any open notes when we do that. I want to show you how you can take this rhythm and apply it in any key, so you're not just limited to first position. So check that out if you want. The last thing I'll mention is as we're coming out of that B to get to the E, I played this little twangy kind of, bluesy country lick there. So all I'm doing is playing the 2nd fret 6th string, and I'm going down, up, down with the right hand, and then I'm bending that string and releasing the tension as I play it. So again, it sounds like an upright bass. So anyway, you can work that in. And that's really all there is to the Johnny Cash Luther Perkins rhythm thing. Let me play through this one more time just so you can get the timing of everything and know how many times to do it and all that stuff. And then at the very end of this, I'm going to tag on a little sample of me playing it in a different key just so you can see what it looks like. Okay, here we go.